Well, as you can see, I'm all tacked up here, right? So we're going to do this now because we're going to talk about reloads. Now, realistically, if you have spare magazines with you, you're probably going to have them in more of a concealed nature, but we're going to use this tactical belt here to kind of demonstrate what we're trying to accomplish with reloads, how they work. How you decide to carry them on your person is going to be your choice, and you're going to have to practice your reloads accordingly. So we don't encourage you to go out and buy a belt like this to walk around and carry your firearm with you. That's not what we're after here. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the two different types of reloads that are out there. There are two basic types of reloads. There's a speed reload and a tactical reload. So the first one we're going to talk about is a speed reload, because what is a speed reload? A speed reload is where you remove the magazine that is currently in your firearm and discard it, meaning you let it hit the ground, let it go wherever it's going to go. You're not worried about retaining that magazine because you're in a hurry to get a fresh magazine in and get more rounds downrange. A tactical reload is one where you remove the magazine from your firearm and you save it. You're going to stow it most likely somewhere on your person, either in your pocket, front pocket, back pocket, cargo pocket. You could put it into your magazine pouch, but we strongly recommend that you don't do that because you want to keep full magazines in your magazine pouch. You never want to be putting partial ones in there, because if you go to one in a speed reload situation, then you don't know if you've got the full one, the partial one. So we recommend to always stow it on your person somewhere. When we talk about the speed reload, we're going to talk about a couple things that are crucial to this and to any reload in general. And that is, first off, your setup. You want to make sure that your magazine pouch is set up in an efficient manner for you. Now, if you're carrying concealed, you may have to put it in an area that's not as convenient as this. But if you were to wear it on a belt similar to this, what we would suggest is, if you're going to carry your magazines vertically like this, you want it on your support side close to your belt line. If you're going to carry them horizontally, you want them on your strong side in front of your gun and close to your belt line. The reason we're trying to keep them close to the belt line is economy of motion. We call this area right in here our workspace, because you think of it as like holding a beach ball. If you hold a beach ball out here, you don't have a lot of control over it if somebody tried to come take it from you or do whatever, right? But if you hold it in close, this is your work area. This is where you've got the most strength and the most agility, right in here. So when we're doing our reloads, we want to be doing them up close in our work area. So we want to keep the magazines that we're going to replace as close as possible. We want to have them right here or right here. What we don't want to have to be doing is reaching back like this and putting it in. We want them all right here with very simple, slow, economical motions to get them into place. So let's talk about the speed reload. Now, the speed reload, again, is where we're going to discard our magazine. We're not going to worry about it. So what happens is we're going to be out shooting, bang, bang, bang. We go empty. We realize we need to reload, so we're going to take our finger off the trigger. We're going to come back to our workspace. But when we come back to our workspace, we keep our eyes on our target or our threat. We don't want to be looking at our gun. That's not what we want to do. We want to keep our eyes downrange towards our threat as we come in to our workspace. Now, the other thing that's going to happen when we do this, we're coming into our workspace, we're simultaneously going to take our strong hand and activate our magazine release button as our support hand is reaching down for a fresh magazine. So when we do it, it'll be, I'm going to do this kind of slow, but I'm going to show you what we're doing. We're going bang, 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 keeping our eyes on the threat. We're coming back to our workspace, strong thumb on the magazine release, support hand on the fresh mag, dropping out, replacing, rack the slide if you need to, back on target, bang, bang, bang. Now you can see how slowly and deliberately I did that. So it would look a little more like this in real time. If I were shooting, bang, 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 I'd come back, bang, 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 bang. And that's about how quick you could perform a speed reload if you had everything set up appropriately for yourself. Now again, the key to this is your setup, because if I had to fumble around and figure out which way my magazine was sitting, that wouldn't go so good for me. So if I had to go, oh wait, where's my magazine? Which way is it turned in here? Or how do I get it into my gun here? And I'm looking at my gun. I'm going to create problems for myself. So part of this is practice. Part of this comes from your setup. So the way you want to do it is, it doesn't matter which way you face your magazine. Some people will tell you it has to be a certain way, but it really doesn't. It's a preference thing. You want to make sure though that you consistently face your magazines the same way every time. For instance, for me, I prefer to have the back of my magazine close to my belt, right to my belt line here. Some people, in fact the majority, seem to prefer to have the back facing away from their belt line. But for me, I've always found it more comfortable to keep it here. I feel like when I get on it, my thumb is right there and the front of my finger goes right to the front of my magazine there. I'm able to quickly find my way into my magazine well without looking. So that's the key. What you want to do is get consistent with how you grab your magazine, how you put it in. That is the key to becoming good at a speed reload. Now let's talk about a tactical reload. What's a tactical reload? Well, a tactical reload means there's been some sort of a break in the action. Somehow there's been a lull in the gunfight or in your shooting or whatever. And a tactical reload should take place ideally behind cover. But at the very minimum, you want it to take place behind some sort of concealment. So what we'll do here for this example is we'll pretend that I've got a wall that comes out to about here. So we'll say I'm out here and I'm shooting, bang, 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 and then my finger comes off the trigger. I'm going to come behind my cover, concealment, whatever it may be. This is where I want to perform my tactical reload, because the tactical reload, again, is not as efficient as a speed reload. It's because there's a lull in you putting rounds down range. So I'm out, bang, 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 finger off the trigger. I come back in. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove my magazine. And there's two ways you can do this. You can either hold on to your magazine while you pull the fresh one and bring it in, or you can stow your magazine, grab your fresh one, and put it in. Now there should be no need to rack the slide when you're doing a tactical reload, because again, the tactical reload has stopped in the middle of your firing. You have not run dry, most likely. You're in the middle of firing, you just simply stopped for a little break. So again, there's actually a couple different ways to do this. If I were to do a tactical reload by going bang, 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 finger off the trigger, come back, I could grab my fresh mag, remove the magazine from there and put in a fresh one, and then stow my magazine in my pocket somewhere. Be ready to go, see if there's any more problems. No, there's not. It looks all good. Or I can do it the other way. I can be shooting, bang, 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 finger off the trigger. I come back behind cover or concealment. I could remove my magazine, stow it away somewhere in my pocket, remove a fresh mag, put it in, and then come back out, see if there's any problem, reassess the situation. Now, it used to be taught for a long time that the right way to do a tactical reload was to do it the way we demonstrated first, where you come back in, you grab a fresh mag, and there was a couple techniques for holding it. One was the cigar method here, between these two fingers. You would remove the magazine that was in, you would replace it with a fresh magazine, you take your old magazine, you put it down into your pocket, whatever. The problem with this, that there was actually a good theory behind it. The theory was that you're keeping a ready magazine right there in case the gunfight starts back up, just in case. So you've got everything right there. So the idea was, hey, if I've got both magazines right there and I start to do this and, oh, the gunfight gets back in, I'll hold on to my magazine and just keep on firing. It was a great theory. The problem is, we talked about this earlier, when you get under stress, there's a physiological reactions. One of them is gross motor skills become what you defer to rather than fine motor skills. So trying to pick up this magazine, hold it in two fingers while you swap out and hold on to this one, that's a bunch of gross motor skills going on with your fingers, right? So what you want to do is you want to make sure that if you can do that, that's great. But if not, then what you end up doing is you're going to be dropping your magazines everywhere, and now you're creating even more delay getting rounds into your firearm, being ready to go. So what we've found through practice and repetition and watching a lot of different people with a lot of different hand sizes, a lot of different skill sets, is that it is actually virtually identical efficiency to go ahead and, if you had your magazine here, it'd be almost the same to go ahead and take the mag out, stow it, come back up, put a fresh one in, as it is to grab one, switch it, stow it. It's almost identical. So you do it whichever way feels better for you, but now you know both ways. But the crucial steps to this are A, if there's a lull in your shooting, you want to do this tactical reload, or tac reload as some would call it. You want to make sure that you're behind cover or at a minimum concealment. Cover being that which stops rounds from coming and penetrating. Concealment being something that just hides you. It doesn't actually stop rounds though. So you want to be at a minimum behind concealment, but ideally behind cover. You want to make sure your finger is off the trigger, and then you want to perform the steps to your tactical reload before getting back out there.